How do you deal with storms in your life? That's what we're going to talk about in this new Trying Hard podcast episode. All right, welcome to a new episode of Trying Hard with Like a podcast. I just want to start off by saying thank you for joining me in this journey. This is going to be close to our 100th episode and maraming mga milestones itong past week. We just had our third year anniversary ng podcast na ito. We had a billboard up on EDSA. Hindi ko pa rin naiintindihan or hindi ko pa masyadong 'di ba? Yan, clueless tayo at speechless tayo kasi hindi ko pa na-wrap yung head ko around that fact. But again, thank you to Spotify, Phil, the entire team for making that happen. Sa susunod yung Spotify exclusive naman sana. But kahit hindi, this is just really a great space for all of us tryhards to gather, alam mo yun, sit by the fire and talk about difficult things, including storms sa buhay natin. And let me preface this by saying that this is actually drawn roughly from a talk I gave more than 10 years ago. So I was looking at the data nung PowerPoint file nitong talk na ito. And ang sabi doon, 2010 yung original file. But I know for a fact na hindi yan 2010 kasi this was actually something I talked about when I was nearing my 20s. So, nun lang siguro na-save or na-transfer tong file na to. Pero, it's a really old talk. But, hindi ibig sabihin na matagal na siya, hindi siya totoo. I was looking through my notes, tas sabi ko, ano kayang nasa isip ko back when I was younger, wala pa akong 20. Pero, alam mo, hugot na hugot talaga si ate girl. Ang dami-dami niyang bubog sa buhay, But I loved yung perspective din dito. And I actually kind of forgot about it. Siguro na-integrate na sa buhay ko. Pero I loved how parang I worded things, sabihin na natin, dito sa talk na to. So today we're going to talk about how do we weather storms in our life? How do we deal with storms in our life? And the younger me, drew from, a part or an excerpt from The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And babasahin ko muna yun sa inyo to lead dito sa conversation na ito. So he writes, again, this is from The Alchemist, one of my favorite books of all time. Yan ang unang-una ko nire-recommend sa mga people who say that hindi sila mahilig magbasa. Like, this is a good starter book na, ano ba, in plain language siya, more or less, pero andun yung flow at hindi siya ganun ka daunting, hindi siya ganun ka overbearing, pero maraming mapupulot na lessons. But anyway, let me just read itong excerpt na to, no? So he writes, tomorrow, sell our camel and buy a horse. Camels are traitorous. They walk thousands of paces and never seem to tire. Then suddenly, they kneel and die. But horses tire bit by bit. You always know how much you know. You always know how much you know you can ask of them, and when it is that they are about to die. So I remember faintly preparing for this talk, reading that line or rereading that line because The Alchemist is the one book I've read so many times in my life before. And that part resonating well with me. Kasi doon sa conversation na yun, I dug deeper into ano ba yung differences ng camel tsaka nga ng horse when it comes to living sa isang ganong klaseng desert condition na hindi siya ideal and na merong mga sandstorms na dumarating. And the idea here is that they are distinctly different, not just in their biology and their makeup, but in the way that they weather storms in their lives. And I'm going to talk about each of them. And then we're going to talk about how that kind of mirrors the kind of people we can choose to be sa gitna ng mga bagyo sa buhay natin. Okay? Yung sinasabi natin lagi, di ba? Kahit sinusubok ka, patuloy pa rin nating susubukan sa buhay. Sumusubok kahit sinusubok. Okay? Now, let's talk about the camel and the horse. Now, these two animals, no? I know it's an oversimplification kasi hindi naman basta camel lang, meron pa tayong different types of animals doon sa desert, no? But when we talk about the camel and the horse, they are two different creatures when it comes to how they go over the desert. Ang camel is built for endurance. Sabi nga dun sa line, 'di ba? They can walk thousands of paces and never seem to tire. So matindi yung endurance nila kahit sa mga difficult na situations. They even have long lashes, no? Kaya yung camel, yung drawings or illustrations ng camels, mahaba yung kanilang lashes. And that helps them and protects them kapag may mga sandstorms. So usually when sandstorms come, camels would refuse to walk. They would kneel and they would close their eyes. Yung lashes nila will keep the sand from going into their eyes. Tapos they have yung humps nila to keep water sa system nila. Di ba yun yung idea? Ever since in yung kwento. When it comes to camels, they can withstand the desert heat without water for long periods of time. So, pwede silang hindi uminom for a long time, tas iinom na lang sila ng marami when they get to an oasis or a spring or a place na merong tubig. But again, the catch is this. They drop dead without warning. So, they would be like that, walang clue na nasa dulo na sila ng buhay nila or papunta na sila doon sa burnout nila or papunta na sila sa edge of ano yung kaya nilang tanggapin or kaya nilang i-handle sa buhay. Walang warning at all, they would just drop dead. Okay? So that's the idea. Now, the horse naman is different. Kasi if the camel is built for endurance, the horse is built for speed. And it has this, di ba, aerodynamic body. Now, when you see horses galloping at really fast speeds, you would see how they would cut through the air. Now, ang horses, they actually also stop when they perceive certain risks. So if you've seen movies, if you've even owned a horse or taken time to ride a horse, you would know na kung if the horse doesn't feel safe, parang okay, hindi level yung ground, masyado tayo malapit sa bangin, the horses would actually stop. And there are times that you would even have to lash the horse, kailangan mo siyang paluin or pilitin or hilahin for them to go into something that they deem to be dangerous. Now, I know I seem like I know a lot about horses. I've never owned a horse in my entire life, but it's one of my obsessions. Like one of my distant dreams would be to have a ranch and own a horse someday because I really love horses. Any chance I get to ride a horse, I would. I really love horses. Now, another thing is that if the camel can withstand the storm, diba, by staying put, by letting the storm pass, the horse has a different strategy. The horse actually outruns the desert storms. So if you feel like a storm is coming, what you would do on a horse would be to just outrun the storm because the horse won't be as good when it comes to sitting idly by and letting the storm blow past through them kasi hindi sila built for that. And the horse is also a beast of burden. It's meant to carry heavy loads then. But ano yung difference itong dalawang to? Or ano yung pwede natin kunin dito? Now, I wrote that camels are storm breakers. Now, this was before Thor. No, like I told you, this was more than 10 years ago. So, hindi yung storm breaker na weapon ni Thor. But storm breakers in that these are the people who withstand the storms. They would wait. They would be patient. They would keep doing what they're meant to be doing. Pag dumating na yung bagyo sa buhay, uupo sila, diba? Titiisin nila yung bagyo na yon hanggang lumipas yung bagyo. So they will wait for the storm to break. That is their strategy. They will wait. Now, yung mga, mga horses naman are the ones who will outrun the storm. Kung may paparating na bagyo, let me do what I can to really parang survive this storm in life by running fast, by doing all I could, by exerting extra effort. Hindi ako magtitiis, gagawin ko yung magagawa ko para ma-conquer or mapagtagumpayan or ma-weather ko tong storm na to. I won't wait until the storm until the storm breaks. I will actually do my best to outrun the storm. Now, anong ibig sabihin nito? And how do we apply it sa konteksto ng kung sino tayo sa buhay? hinugin natin yung idea na yan. But before we do that, let's just pause for a quick little break.
I haven't been posting a lot of videos lately, and here's why. This is the official planner para sa mga tryhards. I created this planner with one goal, which is to make a planner that's good enough for you to destroy. Anong ibig sabihin ko dyan? Alam ko yung feeling na bagong-bago yung planner mo, mabango pa, at dahil ang ganda-ganda niya, parang ayaw mong sulatan. Kaya I wanted something na pagkahawak ninyo, gustong-gusto nyo ng simulan na sulatan kahit pangit ang handwriting mo o wala kang maisulat. This planner is undated, parang ikaw. Which means you can start using it or stop using it whenever. Hanggat may space pa siya. This planner may also be the best worst looking planner you'll ever get. Anong ibig sabihin ko dyan? This planner comes with its own ink stains, coffee stains, doodles, at kung ano-ano pa para hindi ka ma-threaten. Kasi nga, di ba, mabuti nang magulo yung planner pero maayos yung buhay kesa maayos yung planner pero magulo yung buhay. Now, paano naman yung mga walang plano? Pwede rin to sa'yo. It includes its own set of activities para matulungan ka to find kahit one goal lang for this next year. So that's it. This is the I don't just try, I try hard planner for tryhards like me. And whether you're using this planner, another type of planner, old pages from old notebooks, or printouts like I did before, what matters most is not the planner itself, but how you use it. Use it well.
Get yours today by messaging the Lyqa Maravilla Facebook page.
Alright, so thank you for sticking around dito sa conversation na ito. And for those of you who already got a copy of the Trying Hard Planner, thank you for doing that. It helps us keep this operation going, no? Itong podcast natin na ito, so we can really up the ante when it comes to the quality of content that I get to produce for you. Maraming salamat sa inyong tiwala. And more than that, thank you for the investment into yung gusto nyong maging in the future. Sabi ko nga yung Trying Hard na planner is not for everyone din talaga. Kasi nagsusumigaw siya, di ba? And it's really designed for you to use and abuse. So please do that. As we always say, di ba? Mabuti na yung maayos ang buhay at magulo ang planner kaysa yung magulo ang buhay tas maayos yung planner. Kaya sulatan nyo yan, okay? That's the best thing that you're going to do with that planner. Huwag nyo ipapa-frame, huwag nyo itatago in plastic, gamitin nyo siya. Okay? Now, let's jump back into our conversation. Papasokin ko tanong sa inyo. Are you more of a camel or a horse? Are you more of a storm breaker or a storm runner? Are you the type of person who would stay put? Diba? Parang keep the faith. Dito lang ako. Kahit anong mangyari. Kahit nagkakagulo na sa lahat, I will just weather the storm by staying put, believing that things will come to pass, and that everything will be all right. Are you the type of person na ang strongest na personality trait mo is yung tenacity, yung grit, yung willingness to stay kahit na mahirap ang sitwasyon? And that is one of the strategies that we can employ kapag tayo ay naharap sa matinding bagyo ng buhay. 'Di ba? May mga bagay na wala kang magagawa dahil malaki siya, major siya, at wala kang control over it. The way that you could outlast or survive the entire thing is just to stay put. Bank on your strength as a person, yung character mo, yung hold mo, yung malalim na foundation, and just tayo ka lang dun, diba? Stay ka lang dun. Tiisin mo lang siya. Endure the storm. Now, again, for those of you who are facing this type of storm in your life, if you choose to weather the storm this way, sa akin, that's honorable, that's admirable. And I want you to understand this technique kasi I want you to appreciate yourself din. Own it na parang, okay, hindi ko mababago yung company culture overnight. Hindi ko mapapalitan yung boss ko overnight. Hindi ko mas mababago ang sistema overnight. I'm a good person trying hard to be good person, trying hard to do good, to create good in the world. Diba? We talked about yung what the good does badly in an earlier episode. If you're that type of person, na kahit ang gulo-gulo, kahit nasa bagyo, nasa gitna ka ng bagyo, gusto mo lang magpatuloy sa ginagawa mo, be there, keep showing up, that's honorable. That's good. But, ang word of warning ko sa inyo is that, di ba doon sa dulo ng discussion about camels and how it's also phrased in the the clip from The Alchemist that I read to you, wag naman ninyo hayaan na umabot kayo sa point na yun. If there's something that you could learn from the horse, it's showing certain cracks or showing naman some bit of vulnerability. If hindi nyo na kaya, if nahihirapan na kayo, don't just suddenly kneel and die. Don't just suddenly quit. Don't just fall apart kasi hindi nyo na kaya. If you're a camel listening to this, you can relate to this camel. I hope you find it within you to reach out and ask for help, to find help for yourself. I want you to find a way to express your frustration, 'di ba? Yung galit ninyo minsan, yung hirap ng sitwasyon. I know that you're strong. I know that you have you're built for endurance nga. You're built to withstand a lot of storms in your life. But I really hope that even before you get to that point of extreme na burnout, maghanap ka na ng tulong. Kasi we need you in this world. We need the camels in this world. The ones who, just really want to stick around and be that change na kailangan sa mundo. So for the camels out there, for the storm breakers out there, please, okay? This is your key to survival. Don't wait until nasa dulo na kayo. Maghanap kayo ng help, okay? Hingi kayo ng tubig. Magsabi kayo sa amin. Okay? We don't want to lose you in this fight. Now, let me talk to the horses naman. Just in case they are still here. Kasi the horses are always out, di ba? Just wanting to do something else. But I also want to talk to the horses for a short period, no? And encourage you. To those of you who na mas nakaresonate kayo dun sa horse. Na, ganyan ako. Like, kunyari may problema, may paparating. Hindi naman sa tinatakasan yung problema, no? Pero ang ibig sabihin, yung malalaking problema, hindi ako magtitiis. I'll do something. I'll find a solution. I'll race the storm. Kasi I'm a storm runner. Yung mga travel lights sa mundo, di ba? Kayong mga mabibilis na mag-handle ng situation. I hope then na before you find yourself too exhausted naman dun sa running, di ba? Too excited din sa new ideas. Siguro may something din kayong matututuhan from the camels, right? Na ang consistency can also help. Na ang patience ay isang powerful tool din. Na ang perseverance is also admirable. I encourage all of you horses to also find yung grit na tinatawag. Yung sense ng endurance din within yourself. Na even if situations are difficult, may mga storms sa buhay na hindi maiiwasan, wag naman kayo na tatakbo lang lagi. Minsan, kahit ayaw natin, may mga storms na kailangan nating tiisin pa rin. Aabutan pa rin tayo nun. Because again, as we've probably experienced in life din, hindi naman lahat ng bagyo kaya nating takbuhan eh. Kahit ikaw ang pinakamabilis na kabayo, di ba? Pwedeng abutan ka nila. Pero don't let those storms that catch you be your end. Know that you also have long lashes, maybe not as long as the camels, right? And you also have a rider who will help you weather the storm. You can do your best then to survive kahit na inabutan ka na ng storm. And keep going, no? At this, make sure that you, again, keep reminding your rider kung ano yung kaya nyo. Keep working hard. But know that hindi lahat din ng problema ay natatakbuhan. Hindi rin lahat ng difficult things in life ay naiiwasan. Minsan kailangan lang natin gawin kahit yung mahihirap. Now, another word of warning is that sometimes the horses and the camels meet each other in the wild. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Maaaring meron kayong coworker, friend, classmate, anyone within sa buhay ninyo, minsan kahit sa pamilya, na okay, ako ay horse, yung kausap ko ay camel. Ang dami kong bagong ideas, ang dami kong gustong ayusing problema. Tapos itong camel sa buhay ko, lagi nilang sinasabi na parang, hindi, wala na tayong magagawa dyan, tiisin lang natin, hintayin na lang natin to. Minsan din kung camel ka, meron ng horse sa buhay mo, di ba? Yung parang, sinusubukan nyo palang i-implement yung project, nagsasabi na siya na, hindi yan gumagana, let's try something else, let's do something different. And I know it's frustrating na parang bakit wala kang patience or anything. But I hope this conversation maybe plant something in your mind na when you're talking to people like this, okay, siguro itong clash na to, itong disagreement na to, it's because I'm a horse and that person is a camel, or I'm a camel and that person is a horse. But that doesn't mean na we are not able to work as a team. Kasi these are just differences in the way that you tend to weather storms in your life. So can camels and horses work together? I would say yes. And if possible nga, medyo ideal pa nga yun eh. Kasi you can trade yung knowledge sa isa't isa. You can warn each other of certain things. And the horse can remind the camel na, oy, uminom ka muna bago ka tuluyang manghina at mamatay. And then the camel can remind the horse na, alam mo, minsan may mga bagay tayong hindi kayang takbuhan. Halika dito, upo ka muna. We'll just surround you so that the worst of the sandstorm won't hurt you. So yeah, let me end with this, no? I've always said this. Kahit nung bata ako, kasi I remember dun sa dati naming church, merong parang, alam niyo yung mga nakalagay na sinasabit sa wall, ganun, mga decoration, mga quotes, gano'n. Tapos meron isang decoration na nakalagay, there's unity in diversity. Whether the church believed in that or not is a totally different story. But that really, kahit nung mga time na hindi ko pa naiintindihan yung ibig sabihin ng diversity that much, lagi ko siya nakikita pag nasa church ako. And it really resonated well with me. I actually argue na hindi enough yung there's unity in diversity. Sa akin, diversity is required for unity. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Kung same kayo, kaya kayo united, hindi unity yon. That's just sameness. Diba? Kasi natural na, again, birds of a feather flock together. Pero once you have diversity, once may pagkakaiba-iba kayo, and still you choose to work together and be united for a good cause, that is true unity. Ang pagkakampihan dahil pare-pareho kayo or pare-pareho kayo nag-uutuan na lang kayo kasi kayo na lang, ayaw yun na naman nagdi-disagree sa inyo, that's not true unity. Unity happens after wrestling with each other and figuring out what we can learn from each other, using those to move forward. Kasi that's how we find legitimate solutions to our really important problems. So, sa mga camel at horses dyan, sa buhay, I hope you find a way to appreciate each other and you face this new week with a new, parang different perspective ba? To be kinder to yourself, be kinder to others, and understand how important these differences are when it comes to weathering all the storms in our lives. Kaya nyo yan. And if you haven't followed the podcast yet, please go ahead and follow the podcast. We have more conversations like this. So for those of you who are new, welcome to the Trying Hard podcast community. Ikaw na ay isang official Try Hard. Pero kung gusto mo ng more content, you can go and follow us on TikTok at Trying Hard Podcast. You can also join the Trying Hard Podcast community on Facebook. That's where I initially field ideas or ask you kung ano yung mga gusto ninyong content. And that's where you can make a post and reach us directly. Reach me directly then. Kung may mga papayo, send your stories, send your letters to us. And I'll try my best to respond to those in the next few episodes. And as we always say sa podcast na ito, dream big, dream big, work hard, start now, and even when people call you a try hard, don't let them keep you from trying. Kaya niyan. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye!